Hello again. As you can see behind me, the guys are clearing the floor here in the floor maltings. It'll take them a couple of hours to do that. And then the barley is transported to the top of the pagoda roof, where eventually we'll light the fire later on this afternoon, and hopefully you get a chance to see that. And then we'll start smoking and drying the barley, which will take around about 40 hours in total. But while they're doing that, I have to do my work, which is talk about whiskey. Now, Highland Park 15-year-old is a bit different from the 12, in one big part. It's not to do with the age. The difference between a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old, to be honest, in maturation terms, is quite small. It's quite minimal. What the big difference between our two whiskies is basically tree. At Highland Park, we only use sherry casks. We use two types of sherry casks. We use American oak sherry casks and Spanish oak sherry casks. The 12-year-old is all about Spanish oak. There is some American in it, but it's all about Spanish oak, and that gives it that wonderful, deep, rich colour, that big, sweet honey note that you'll know all about. But the 15-year-old is all about American oak trees. Now, the difference between the two trees is quite simple. A Spanish oak tree grows like this, so the grain is quite open, so you get a good interaction with the tannin, the inside of the grain, so that pulls the colour out and pulls all that big, fruity, sweet flavour out, which sherry casks are famous for. An American oak tree grows like a pencil, very, very straight. So the actual, the rings are and the grain is very, very close together, so you don't get that big colour boost that you would of a Spanish oak cask, but what you do get is all the citrus and lime and coconut flavour. It's less sweet than a Spanish oak sherry cask. So, let's explain this to you. Now, with our 15-year-old, if you look at the colour, it's a little bit darker than the 12. That's because we are now using a greater percentage of first fill sherry casks. Of all the casks we use for the 12-year-old, of all them, 20% are first fill sherry casks. For the 15-year-old, we're now up to 30% first fill sherry casks. It's a little bit darker. If you turn the glass 45 degrees and spin it all the way around, you'll see that the tears and legs are very, very small again. Same size as the 12-year-old, so it's 40% alcohol. But they're taking a lot longer to coming down the glass, which is the extra couple of years of maturity. So there's lots and lots and lots of flavour. If we go to smell the whiskey, we nose it 3 times. Now, the big difference is in the nose. Big difference is in the nose. The 12-year-old kind of jumps up your nose. Big sweet flavour. With the 15-year-old, it's a bit more reserved. The sweetness isn't quite there. It's a lot more relaxed. The citrus, the big lime, lemon notes are very, very obvious. And then the smoke, for the first time, is beginning to come through. With a 12-year-old, it's quite difficult to pick up a smoky note. But the joy in smelling is always the tasting afterwards. Cheers. You chew it, you chew it, you chew it, you chew it. And swallow. The difference in tree is very, very apparent at this moment in time. It's a bit drier. The tingling sensation is now on the top of your tongue. 2 or 3 seconds later, your mouth will dry, and then a couple of seconds after that, you get that gentle, smoky aftertaste, which again, Highland Park are famous for. The big difference between the trees are, the 12-year-old will give you that big caramel sweet note, which isn't there in the 15-year-old. It's more reserved, and that allows the smoke to come through. So it gives you the appearance that it's a smokier whiskey. It's not. It's exactly the same as the 12-year-old, just because the sweetness isn't hiding the smoke. So that is Highland Park 15-year-old. Cheers.